Now, people do sometimes come to me and say, Basil, how in the world are you so good at the podcasting? And I say, by eating thunder and crushing lightning. This is the OSMcast. Welcome, folks, to the OSMcast, your podcast for everything awesome. I'm Basil.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Dylan.
And I'm Doug.
And that's us. We will eventually be talking about Symphogear, but not quite yet. Now, I don't know when this episode will actually go out. It will either be right before or right after, a little bit after MTAC, the Middle Tennessee Anime Convention. Hope you went there if you're localish to the North Alabama, Tennessee, General Nashville area. If you can, go, and hopefully maybe you went to one of my two panels, which is the Final Fantasy 14 panel, which is, as it is recording, is scheduled to be like the very last daggum panel of the con.
Yay!
Which does not feel like where that panel should be, but I'm not the person programming. And also my panel all about gambling anime. But yeah, cons, if you feel well enough to go to, you should go to, and also wear a mask while you're there. Even though I don't think there's any cons that's requesting actual masks being worn, you should wear them anyways. It's a smart thing to do.
Yeah. Just ask yourself, what would they do in your Japanese animes? And wear a mask.
What are other things you can do? Well, I'm glad to ask. You could join our Discord or our Patreon, where, just for, I don't know, $1, if you join the Discord and you're a member of the Patreon, you get a cool color. Or if you spend $5 or more, you get bonus episodes, which are ostensibly pretty great.
Yes, if you want a little more off the cuff discussions, you probably want to see those bonus episodes.
You can also, we got our store up on one of those websites, TeePublic, where you can get OSMcast swag if you want that too. But I think it's time for Kevin to take us to school and tell us all about some moments of awesome.
It's a moment of awesome.
So how are you schooling us today, Kevin?
I guess I'm up. Yeah, I got what I could, at least from my point of view, I think is honestly a weird one. Because I'm going to talk briefly here about Abbott Elementary. I think this is weird because it's a network sitcom, although on ABC, although I'm watching it on Hulu, that I just sort of got recommended through a freak internet encounter, basically. And then I actually I got 30 minutes. Why don't I fill it with that? And I like it. I've now just went from yesterday to almost finishing the first season. It is, and it's sort of a vaguely offish-ish mockumentary style sitcom that's set in a Philadelphia public school that is very definitely not getting any of the funding it needs, and all the the teachers who are just sort of trying to do their best, but provide our comedy. The main creator is a Quinta Brunson, which I hope I pronounced right. She's the one behind it. She is a comedian. She is in stuff. She was Oprah Winfrey in the Weird Al Yankovic movie. And Hawk Girl in the Harley Quinn animated series. I've not seen anything else that she's in. But it's just it's shockingly funny. And while this is a landmine of a statement I'm starting to walk into, so hopefully I don't step on it. But while the majority of the cast is black and it definitely deals with inner city issues, it's not a quote unquote black sitcom. Like it's just people living and doing their thing and trying to teach kids, even though despite that they're like not super focusing on it, when it does go there, it is more nuanced and better written than most sitcoms ever do. But like I don't know, I don't watch many sitcoms, so it's like, hey, I'm liking this. It's funny. Abbott Elementary. Who knew?
Well, all right. Cool.
Now, is this an anime?
Oh no, it's a live action show. Just
Oh, okay.
live action, real people.
Weird.
Yeah, I know. I usually don't like live action shows unless it involves kicking Nazis so hard they explode. But
Nice. And you said it was on Hulu?
you can watch it on Hulu, or I guess it airs sometime on ABC on some day of the week. I don't know. I'm watching it on Hulu.
Understood. All right. Well, Dylan, tell us about them righteous gemstones.
So this is a show that I only started last night. I was between shows, going through streaming platforms, kind of looking at the things I'd marked on my list there, going like, what do I want to start? And I remember hearing good things about the Righteous Gemstones, and just this, I haven't even finished the first season yet, so bear that in mind in this recommendation. But I really got into it. It's on HBO Max. The concept is John Goodman is sort of the patriarch of this televangelist family, and in the first season, kind of the inciting incident is his oldest adult son is getting blackmailed for this video where he's doing some illicit things, and hijinks ensue, right? It kind of feels a lot like a more dramatic Arrested Development. Like all these people they're rich, they're famous, they're like sort of out of touch with normal stuff, and there's a lot of family drama and things like that. It just has some hilarious moments, and strangely you start feeling for these people, like some darkly hilarious moments. The thing that sold me is at the end of the first episode, the oldest son and his two siblings are dealing with the blackmailers, and they're going to meet him in a parking lot and give them the money, and they panic and run over the other one and back up all the way across the parking lot to the other one. It just plays it straight until it happens, and you're like, okay. I really, like I said, don't know what else to say. It seems to be wrapping up, like the first season seems to be wrapping up pretty well. There's a lot of twists and turns, but like I said, there's just these bizarre comedic moments. Like lady ramming a car multiple times with a shopping cart in the parking lot of a Piggly Wiggly. Definitely has like there are flashbacks to the 80s in the South, and it feels very legitimate as someone who grew up in the 80s in the South. So yeah, that's what I got.
Cool.
Yeah.
What platform is it on?
HBO Max.
Okay.
Ugh.
Okay, that's
That can limit me
why
a
I haven't
little,
seen it.
but yeah.
I think I have HBO Max. I think I just constantly forget that I have it.
I'm kind of like that with like Netflix anymore. It's like, oh yeah, I've got that. Haven't added anything to the list in forever. Haven't watched anything on the list in forever, but it's there.
Yeah. Netflix somehow manages to add like a new thing I want to watch just as I'm seriously considering canceling the subscription.
Yeah, that's always kind of my fear. Like when they do the new Stranger Things episode or season, I'll want to watch that, but otherwise,
I've been having good luck with the stand-up comedy on Netflix, so I'm never getting rid of my Netflix subscription just for the stand-up comedy alone.
Yeah, I will occasionally watch that, and it does have a lot. Like,
Yeah.
pretty much like any comedic actor or whatever that, if you like them, they probably have a couple of stand-up specials on there.
Yes. Yes.
Well, speaking of HBO Max, that's the show that I've also been watching on HBO Max. It's the new Perry Mason show. And I was thinking to myself, I really want to watch Poker Face, but that's on Peacock. And theoretically, I think through Anna's mom, we have access to Peacock. But I haven't figured out how to get that access. So I was like, well, they did do that new Perry Mason. And Perry Mason is and I was thinking about it, kind of like Columbo or Matlock or any of those older procedurals, like Murder, She Wrote. I remember liking Perry Mason pretty good watching up as a kid. Well, let me watch that new Perry Mason show. Okay, so this is not that Perry Mason show. Oh, no, sorry, sir or madam. No, this is from HBO, the same folks that brought us the critically acclaimed MMO winning award, Last of Us show. That's all dark and gritty. So this Perry Mason show is also extremely dark and gritty, and it is very good, but it is not what I was planning on watching.
Oh no.
Again, it's very good. They did a very good job. It looks stunning. The cinematography is great. The production of design is great. Matthew Rhys is very good Perry Mason. John Lithgow is his mentor. And I've never seen such a good, seriously play character from John Lithgow before. Tatiana Maslany, who is, she's also the main character in She-Hulk. Mm-hmm. She plays as this preacher lady for this, Christian church that is also the focal point because this takes place, in the 1930s. Is also a major point of I don't know, entertainment. So they're putting on these lavish productions, in the church, and it's very, very good. It's a good show. Kicks things off with a dead baby and goes from there.
So
Yeah, so maybe not a kid show.
No. And in fact, how they deal with the dead baby, I cannot recommend this to my wife because it deals with a dead baby, but also how they deal with the dead baby, I cannot recommend it to Doug either.
Oh no. That means I know exactly what's wrong with the baby. It's awful.
So is this one story across the whole season, or is it a story every episode? Every episode?
It is generally one case. It is about the case of this poor dead baby, and it's much more intertwined with the politics of the legal system and this church and all sorts of things. Also, at the start of the show, Perry Mason isn't even a lawyer yet. He's just an investigator for John Lithgow's character. So there is that. But it's very good. It is very good. Very high quality. Kevin should watch it just for Juliet Rylance's Della Street, because Della Street gets a girlfriend in this one. So it's definitely, it's a Kevin forward show.
Oh man, all the right wing chuds are going to be on the internet telling us how Perry Mason's gone woke.
Right. Oh, and it also deals with a black cop. So
Perry Mason gone woke. They're going to be out there pretending they watched Perry Mason all this time.
Oh yeah. It's very good. Very, very good. I was not expecting a 1930s period drama that apparently is closer to how the novels did it back in the day.
Oh.
So maybe this is just the Trigun stampede of HBO's time. I don't know.
Okay. It's also a period piece. That's interesting.
Yes. Like, because apparently the origination of the Paramation like TV series takes place more congruently like when they started doing that TV series, which is not in the 1930s. It was like I think the 1950s, 1960s, and so it just kept going on from there. But no, this one is set the same time period that the novels are set, which is in the 1930s.
Oh, okay. Interesting. That's although once again it's HBO Max, which I do not have.
Look, man, I'm not saying you gotta go. You know, don't give it up, Luffy. But
Well,
it's a good show. You should find some way watching it.
I may go take a bite of gum at some point.
But now I'm looking at our document, and I think Doug is about to take us to the limit.
Yeah, the Roche limit.
Are we talking about the physics principle or something named
Yes!
after?
I just learned about Roche limits, and now I want to tell you guys about them. So, Basil, do you know what a Roche limit is?
I do not.
Okay, so when an object in space is orbiting another object, there's a limit, like, where it becomes a moon or where it like breaks apart and becomes rings, and that's the Roche limit. When two celestial bodies orbiting one another, the mass of one is so much greater than the other that the tidal effect causes it to break apart and it turns into rings. That's why Saturn has rings and why Jupiter has moons. Although Jupiter also has rings, but that's
I think Saturn also has moons. But I mean, it all depends on your relative positioning.
But you know what I meant when I said it.
Right.
And I just found out about this concept last night, and I thought it was just absolutely fascinating. And I watched a lot of videos about it, and so I'm very excited about Roche limits. Yeah, like if the moon was the moon is actually pretty safely beyond its Roche limit. Like, it would have to get I think 10 times closer to the Earth compared to what it is now before it would break apart like that and destroy all life on Earth.
Yeah. Or, if something hypothetically took a big chunk out of the moon, that chunk might, something might happen.
Would the moon itself get rings? Because I've heard that could happen.
Yeah, that could totally happen. It depends on how the chunk gets taken out of the moon, and also if the moon is even a solid object. We don't know. Like, it could be hollow. It's probably not. It's probably a solid object. But the point is that we don't actually know. And I just wanted to talk about this because it occurred to me as we were talking about all this stuff that I've actually been pretty consistent about reviewing stuff on our Discord. Like, pretty much as I've been watching anime this season, I've been going onto our Discord and saying, hey, I watched this show. It's good. Go watch it. Or this sucks. Don't bother with it. So if you want to hear those opinions from me on media and things like that, is easily accessible on our Discord.
I feel like a lot of them are like, I watched this so you don't have to. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that.
Yeah. That is.
I'm sorry you had to watch that.
That is a lot of them.
Like, I bounce off stuff really fast. I'm surprised you've finish them or at least get as far as you do.
Yeah, once I start it, I usually tend to finish it, which is why I take the hit for the team. Like, I'm not gonna tell you to go watch something if I think you should go watch it. I'm not gonna tell you to go watch something if you think it was terrible. If I thought it was terrible, or if I thought it was just not so good. Most things tend to be middling, I think.
Yeah. I rarely, if I start something, I rarely actually stop it just for being bad. I will stop if it's boring.
Yeah, it has to be really bad for me to stop watching it because it's really bad, and even then, I might continue watching it just to see how bad it gets.
Like, once I started watching something, you kind of got to really just go out of your way to deeply and personally offend me to get me to stop in the middle of something.
Well, you know what's not middling? You know what gives its whole heart and its whole soul into every goddamn thing it does? It's this anime they call Symphogear, which will be the topic of tonight's episode. I say tonight, whenever you're listening to this episode.
Yeah.
So we'll be right back. And then we're going to talk about some Symphogear. This is the OSMcast. All right. We are back and we're going to be talking about Symphogear. Now, you might be thinking, wasn't this your Anime Secret Santa episode for 2022? And the answer is yes. Are you recording this in the end of March in 2023? Also, yes. Don't worry about it. Because you know what? If this was an episode taking place in Symphogear, they wouldn't worry about it.
Time is all kind of relative anyway.
It's true.
It's just something we made up. It's fine.
I mean, or the Perry Mason Show, or Righteous Gemstones. Anyways, so before we really get into like the production side of things, I did want to ask Kevin, because look, there's been a lot of folks who have said to me via the internets, watch Symphogear. In fact, it's even been somewhat of a meme has born out of this show. But the one person who has been like, yo, you should really watch Symphogear has been Kevin.
Yeah.
To me, personally, to my face, multiple times.
Yeah.
So, I am now going to ask Kevin, why is the first season of Symphogear the greatest anime ever made?
Well, you only say that because you haven't watched any seasons of Symphogear after the first season.
But I have, and I'm not sure I would call it the greatest anime ever made. I watched the whole series and I'm surprised.
Oh, hey, cool.
It's good, but I don't know. I'm curious why you all think it is the greatest.
I honestly,
I didn't say I did. I'm very specifically saying Kevin.
I honestly can't say I think it's the greatest anime series ever made, because I mean, there's a couple shows you'd have to overthrow for that. They're pretty grandfathered in. But I do really, really love Symphogear.
Yeah, the whole time I was watching it, like, I just kept thinking, oh my gosh, this is the most Kevin anime ever.
It's pretty Kevin core. Yes, it is.
It is, yeah. And it also reminded me when I was actually doing some of the research, just figuring out who in the world made this stuff. Kevin, what was your favorite RPG on the PlayStation 2?
Like Wild Arms 3, yeah.
And golly, who would have thought the creative lead, the writer of Symphogear, is a person named Akifumi Kaneko, and he also happens to be the writer creator side of the Wild Arms series.
Yep. And they got a new game coming out sometime in the future. It's going to be Wild Arms with the serial numbers filed off. I'm looking forward to it. I kickstarted that.
When I was initially like, all right, so who wrote Symphogear? And it's like, what else has he done? Wild Arms. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wild Arms? That, like, there's a couple of minor things, but the two big things that this guy's worked on is Wild Arms and Symphogear.
Look, Symphogear is where the Venn diagram of magical girls, idol anime, and mecha anime just meet in the center.
Gosh,
Yes.
I'm looking at his name, and even his name sounds like something you would like, Kevin.
I do think like Kevin definitely has it. Like the thing that like I really picked up on early, it's like it it's a Sentai show, it's a magical girl show, it's got pop idols, it's got violence and nudity in ways you wouldn't expect in those things. It's like it's wearing its Evangelion and probably some other shows that I'm not familiar with. Like it's wearing those influences on its sleeve. It's pretty much every type of anime you could want it to be.
Like I made a whole list of like just the obvious inspirations that I noticed just looking at it. Like it obviously has like heavy influences from Macross, in the, can I just say that it obviously has very heavy influences from Macross? It's very heavily influenced by Ava. It's pretty obviously influenced by Cutie Honey, by Birdie the Mighty. Like you can see how like all of these things contributed into it and built the pieces that that this anime eventually made itself out of. Like the whole concept between like the fighting idols, it being sort of a satellite show to something else going on. Like I don't know. I had this note, satellite show, and I don't know what that note means anymore.
It's from Studio Satelight, maybe?
Is it SATLIGHT?
SATALITE.
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't know.
satellite show. I don't know what I meant by that. I don't know what I meant. I just noted that it was a satellite show.
Well, it is animated by Studio Satelight, which is Koji Kawamori's anime studio, who, has done the latter Macross series.
Which is, that's why I ask like spelling. That's spelled differently. But it definitely is also like they've released this music. And it almost seems like it could be a vehicle for that.
A little bit. Like
degree.
there literally
it partially is.
There literally have been concerts and live events with the, the voice actresses singing their songs. And one of them, Nana Mizuki, is as much of a singer as she is a voice actress. So
and the other person who tends to be credited as the co-creator / other writer of Symphogear is someone named Noriyasu Agematsu. And he's the founder and he's leader of a group called Elements Garden, which is a group that produces the whole series music. It is a bunch of music composers, and they sort of form their own little music production brand. And they produce music for video games, anime, recording artists. They do a lot of stuff. And they also produce all the music for this show. And Agematsu is also the main song lyricist for Symphogear, writing majority of the song's lyrics. But even Akifumi Kaneko has also written a decent amount of the songs too. And apparently, as I understand it, a lot of the stuff that Kaneko writes, he runs by Noriyasu Agematsu.
Mm-hmm.
And also in further seasons, apparently, Kaneko, he also got hospitalized for something, and so other people started writing stuff, but everything had to go through him before it was approved to be as a part of the show. So no. Definitely music and the selling of music and the creation of music careers for a lot of these voice actresses and whatnot is definitely a part of this show.
Well, it makes sense because all the songs are reflective of the characters' emotional states. So it's like, I don't remember. If you watched on Crunchyroll, I don't know if they subtitle the songs. And you're almost missing out if they're not. Although I do definitely say, if you want to continue the show further, very definitely for the last season, try to get the Discotheque Blu-rays, because I think whoever was doing the translating on Crunchyroll kind of pieced out in the last few episodes of the Crunchyroll subs, because they do not do a good job of conveying what's going on, in my opinion. But I also like how Discotheque turns a phrase. You're not getting really any different information most of the time in the first season, but I just like how Discotheque wrote it better.
But also, Kevin, I just want to let you know you're not alone, because in 2019, Anime UK Newsreader's Choice Awards, Symphogear XV or 15, I'm not sure how you're supposed to do that.
XV. Yeah.
It did win the category for Best TV Anime. It also won the Most Wanted Anime License and Most Wanted Manga License. and Hibiki and Miku were runner-up for category of best couple. So you are not
Yeah,
alone.
no,
The
there is.
nation of Great Britain stands with you in the love of Symphogear.
I'll be honest, there is just this moment, like, I know Twitter's a cesspool, but there's this moment where you find an anime fan who hasn't seen Symphogear, and they start watching Symphogear, and you watch them watching Symphogear through Twitter, is kind of magical. No matter what their opinions are, it's always kind of magical to watch them reacting to the show.
Gosh, I'm going through my notes of this show as I was watching it to try to like say, okay, what's the important parts that I need to remember to bring up as we're going through this, and just reading my notes is kind of wild.
Was I drunk, or did I have a tremendous fever when I wrote this down? Was I delirious?
So this
I will-
anime is a lot.
It's a lot,
This
a
anime
lot.
is a lot.
It's very a lot. But
I think as me and Basil were watching it, like if you thought of anime as being like college courses, like some courses, some anime are like 101 courses, like this is how you get into anime, and then some of them start to get more advanced. I would place Symphogear as a solid like 300, 400 level class. Like it's not a master class, but it's you got to be in deep in the reads before you'll even understand it. Like
Yeah, you kind of have to get those tropes, to get what's going on and to take it seriously, because there are moments where it actually is pretty serious. It's not just like goofy stuff.
No, it is generally speaking telling a fairly serious story, just in the most over the top and dramatic way possible.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that I thought was interesting. Like it seems like it alternates between some really well thought out plots and just some dumb things.
I mean, the show has some
Right.
very memeable moments, some very what moments, some weird fan service moments, even though I still really insist the show isn't a weird fan service show, but sometimes someone didn't tell the animators that.
Yes. No, I think what makes that bearable for me is it doesn't really call attention to the fan service moments. Like the transformation sequences are like, what they're doing. You see it, what they're doing, but you don't have to necessarily you don't have to engage too much with that aspect of the show to still watch it.
Well, I thought those transformation scenes were straight up callbacks to Cutie Honey. Like
I've never seen Cutie Honey, so like my ignorance of a lot of anime is
I sort of want to agree, but also want to go, transformation sequences where you are at least at some point naked or partially naked are kind of common with magical girls.
They are. I don't know. Like it seems in some. Maybe I'm thinking of the later seasons where they change up the sequences. You're like, this seems like it's a little
wilder. Like, I mean, as subsequent sequences go on and they get bigger budgets, like by the time of the last season, those are some of the most gorgeous transformation sequences I've seen in anime.
Yes.
A couple of them are weirdly fan servicey.
Yes.
Maybe arguably all of them, but it just depends on how my brain registers it as fan service or not.
But it kind of seems like the show goes back and forth. Like the first time you meet Genjiro, like the section head, he's just, like it just comes off completely goofy, and then he becomes a more serious character. Like the thing I actually liked is it takes some really wild swings, inserting itself into history and mythology. Like directly connecting itself up. Like that was what sold me on watching the rest of it. Like I look at an episode and like, I got to look this up in the wiki. And then I'd see some of the other entries in the wiki and go, how did they end up here?
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of funny to get into later seasons and, like the Illuminati comes up or they're talking about the Anunnaki and you get into some conspiracy theories that have more real world traction than most anime gets into.
Oh yeah. Like this show, man, this is I've only seen the first season, like Doug has. Like I've not watched past that yet. But even that this first season, halfway through, I'm like, did they also just really binge like the first 2 or 3 Assassin's Creed games too? Because I know we've dropped Avi a few times, and I was thinking like it feels very much like Assassin's Creed, where like you're like, all right, wait, excuse you, I wasn't expecting to see the actual reincarnation of Jesus here. Now, that's just an example. Doesn't actually happen in the first first season. It could happen later seasons, and I believe
I'm
you.
avoiding any spoilers about the weird historical and mythological stuff that happens.
I would absolutely believe you because, man, as out there as this anime loves to get, and whatever it's doing, it's doing it incredibly with just earnest and heart and all its soul. Like it is, there is no such thing as subtext in this show, only text.
We can get into
Well-
that later, but I agree. Like if you look at like especially Hibiki and Tsubasa, like very serious characters, you really start getting into their character development as it goes. The story, when it it has this aspect of international politics and intrigue in places that make it seem really realistic. Like, yeah, of course countries wouldn't trust each other with these relics. And of course Gendro has to think about whether, he's operating in the bounds of the law or not. You don't necessarily see that in a lot of shows, and it's weird that this show goes there.
What happens when there's government oversight on magical girls?
Yeah.
So I guess we should actually, I don't know, mention like the general premise of this show. I'm not too worried about it because I feel like anyone who's watching this, listening to this episode, has in fact already seen all of Symphogear, and they're much like Kevin. They're only listening just to hear, yes, tell me all about the show I love. Yes, tell me. Tell me everything I already know, like it's like a Gundam panel or something at a con. But
I mean, yeah, it's
it takes place at some nebulous future time frame where there are these weird other creatures called the Noise, and just being near them is going to straight up kill you. They're just
the Noise are shockingly almost identical to the Gnosis from the Xenosaga games. in that they are beings who exist partly out of phase with our reality, making them very difficult to harm, but they can just touch you and kill you.
and they do. They kill lots of people
Yeah.
in this series, or at least in this season. I assume it continues on if the Noise keeps
I'd
showing
argue
up.
the only plus side is typically a Noise only kills one person before they also disintegrate. Unfortunately, they tend to show up in huge swarms.
Yeah, because if they didn't, like, how would you take them out without the relics that only the Japanese have?
Yeah, so there's relics, which are little fragments of actual like historical artifacts and magical devices built from magic or ancient alien super technology. Opinions vary, and they use these little fragments of relics to find a very, very small number of compatible people who can use them to transform into this suit of armor called a Symphogear, which is then powered by singing.
The first few episodes, I was really into it. Like, I was like, oh man, these character designs are so great. Like they reminded me very much of Pokemon, which I was playing the new Pokemon at the time, so I was very into that. I was like, oh, such awesome character designs. They look weird but comforting at the same time. I was really into like look at how they like make sure that to animate the girls' mouths moving, like so that they're obviously actually singing this song and it's not just like coming from their heart.
Yeah.
But later they kind of stray away from that. In these first couple of episodes, I thought it was really noteworthy, and I really enjoyed it. But then as the anime went on, I didn't even take any notes for episode 9 and 10. I think I just got way too overwhelmed with how much it is. It is very much all in on itself, on what it is doing.
Now, interesting with the singing in the show is instead of just like recording a song, getting in and recording your song single and just playing whatever bit of it you need in the episode, every single episode where they had to sing, they recorded it like it was dialogue. So, which lets them get in little grunts and groans and strange sounds while they're singing. But it also means that they were like, at least they were singing in like every episode recordings.
That's kind of wild because the same song shows up multiple times.
Oh, yeah. They just, recorded it all fresh and new each and every time. And one presumes yet one more time for the actual inevitable CD single release. This was like actually Aoi Yuki, who does the main character Hibiki. She went into the show feeling like not super confident as a singer. She came out of the show very confident as a singer. She was the one who hadn't done a lot of music beforehand.
Yep. Can we talk about the most appealing thing about the whole show?
Well, I'm curious what you feel the most appealing thing about the whole show is, certainly.
Because there is one thing about this show that is far more appealing than any other part of the show. And there are plenty of appealing parts of the show. But there's one thing that stands out notably, and we haven't even mentioned it yet.
I'm really curious as to what this is, because
I'm curious where you're going with this. I might completely agree with you.
I think we all have our opinions on that. I definitely no, just give me the weird historical stuff.
Lesbians.
Let me see how crazy you want to go.
Well,
lesbians.
yes, you're
lesbians
right.
As far as the eye can see. A lesbian here, a lesbian there. Lesbians all around.
Well, I actually made an observation about the show that there are male characters in the show who are older than our protagonist. There's even one or two who are younger than our protagonist. But there are no male characters of a similar age to our protagonist in the entire series.
Right.
One would assume that even guys can't operate Symphogears. It's never said, but I don't think you see...
I mean, it's just apparently statistically very unlikely that you can operate a Symphogear. I mean, even there, not to be spoilers, but there are some more Symphogear users in later seasons, and it's like even they need doses of drugs to actually use Symphogears properly because they're close but don't quite match up with the relics.
The funny thing though about this observation, I did make the note of I'm not sure if this show is actually Yuri or just teasing, baiting Yuri, because there are definitely pairs of characters, especially as you go into later seasons. Most of the characters are paired with another character in some way. They talk. And in some cases, especially Hibiki and Miku, and act like they are together.
Yeah.
But they also act like they aren't. Hibiki and Miku.
No, they act like they're together.
They do. They sleep in the same bed, but then in later seasons it's
the same bed
I have to tell her how I feel, and you've been sleeping in the same bed as her. I kind of this is not matching up.
The anime opening ends on Hibiki and Miku holding hands as last shot.
It's
the two Hibiki and Miku's voice actresses even repeatedly refer to Miku's voice actress repeatedly refers to herself as Hibiki's bride, except that in second season they're not newlyweds anymore. They started to settle down, but
oh gosh.
Yet, the final season does have a big plot arc about this big unspoken thing between them and whether or not it'll ever be spoken.
Yeah. Which, once again, is weird. They're sleeping in the same bed.
I almost like imagine it happening in universe and Chris being like, I thought you guys were married.
Yeah.
You literally sleep in the same bed.
And maybe, again, this is a difference I think I have when watching things like this. I'm like, I'm in my 40s. I've been single pretty much most of my life. It's pretty much easy to go, well, maybe they have other things going on, right? Like they're saving the world. Maybe they have other things going on. They don't have time for relationships.
No, these two, it's pretty explicit. They are in
Or-
a relationship.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, you say all this, and then I think about every story I've ever seen on the internet that where the joke is, you can have the two lesbians getting married, and the one will turn to the other and be like, "So does that mean we're going out?"
I mean, yeah, that would fit.
It's true.
Like I said, that would fit.
That is how lesbians be sometimes. Does this mean you like me?
But then again, one of the main plot threads of this first season is the fact that Hibiki is keeping things away from Miku, and Miku is not handling it very well.
Yeah,
She's used to Hibiki telling her everything, and now she's not, and she's doing these other things, and she's off getting swole and strong out of nowhere. And it's
Yeah, I did not
and
like
she-
how Miku handled the revelations. Like, I thought that she handled it very poorly and unreasonably. And I don't know, if I were Hibiki, I wouldn't have any tolerance for that kind of bullshit. Like,
well, I feel
Well,
that I feel that now is getting
teenage girl moment.
like I do feel
There's
that now
also-
we're sort of going into spoiler territory. So I'd rather not, because we
Yeah.
have yet to even talk about Tsubasa.
That's right.
Like we haven't even
Oh,
talked about Tsubasa.
Yeah.
And the living embodiment of a sword.
Yeah. She is care of your sword is important though.
She still holds, her torch for Kanade, who was the original, user of the Symphogear that now Hibiki uses.
Yeah, so that relationship,
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure that they explicitly state it, but at the same time, if this was a heterosexual couple, everybody would assume they were
You'd
together.
assume they were a
you would
couple.
100% assume. Yeah, the way they
Just-
talk.
Symphogear is bad about ever just like grabbing you by your shoulders and going, Harold, they're lesbians. But if you take if these were, if this was any other media with a male and a female character, you would assume they were a
Yeah.
couple. By that metric, Symphogear more than exceeds. Like you under those circumstances, you would never think these characters weren't at least interested in each other. And they definitely have kind of a couple vibe in the scenes we see with them in flashbacks later in the show. And it's how Tsubasa acts to suddenly there being a new person using the same Symphogear is also is like she does not handle that very well for a few episodes.
Yes.
She also doesn't handle it well, but I thought her handling of it was much more reasonable. Like, there are a lot of feelings that you can have when like I don't know, if you loved the guy who was piloting that Gundam and now a new guy is in that Gundam, it's reasonable that you'd have like feelings about that. And so I think I think Tsubasa, while she also doesn't handle it well, it's more reasonable that she would, because it's not like she had like this long, loving relationship with Hibiki beforehand. So,
and also to use
in-
the Gundam analogy, if just some new rookie was flying that same Gundam and kind of doing a shitty job of it the first few times.
yes. Like,
also just the way Hibiki gets it, right? Like, it's not like they go looking for another candidate and send her through the process. It's just like suddenly she shows up and she has this.
yeah.
And there's not really an explanation why.
Happens. I mean, there is an explanation,
There is.
but
We, the viewer, know why, but Tsubasa does not. But
it's just like, who's this random girl who has had none of the years of training I've had and none of the, hardship and discipline, and who is apparently replacing my dead girlfriend?
One other note that I made that kind of fits in with what we talked about, like Miku having issues with Hibiki and Tsubasa having issues with Hibiki. These are in 12 episode seasons, right?
Yeah.
So you get some weird, like really unnaturally quick swings in those tensions, those character development. It kind of comes off as a little like, oh, we've just magically kind of solved this problem. But like the trade-off there is if these were 26 episode seasons, like it would probably drag in the back half of the season, right? Like you'd introduce one too many twists. So that's kind of like a trade-off I noticed with a lot of the tensions.
And you may be asking yourself, how does Hibiki and Tsubasa deal with this? And Symphogear follows a similar course of action of what do we do to, like, I don't know, other characters also dealing with themselves, like a Yuri and a Victor. And the answer is you throw a Chris at it.
Yeah, you throw Chris at it.
Oh, man.
I don't quite follow your analogy, but I like that you made it.
I think it was a segue, and I'm assuming we're kind of getting into spoiler territory.
We're starting to, but I feel like Chris is,
I feel like Chris exists beyond the fact that she exists, gets into spoiler territory.
That is true. And I guess before we really do that, I do want to point out I really like a lot of the, for lack of a better word, support cast.
Yeah.
I really like Genjiro a lot. Even if he has to keep his tie tucked in a pocket.
Yeah. Well, that's because, Genjiro may not be Hibiki's father, but he's definitely her papa. Like, he is the ultimate surrogate dad.
I also like
that.
Like, he does a great job of teaching Hibiki how to fight, and I'm also not quite sure why he isn't just out there killing everything himself, because apparently he can.
Well, because he can't directly touch any of the noise without dying like anybody else. That doesn't stop him from pulling, like, earthbender tricks and hitting them with rocks, but...
there are a few of the adult characters that have powers.
Yeah, there actually are more than Genjiro.
It's never really explained.
It's never explained.
And it's one of those things, like, you see this a lot in anime where they just, like, they create mystery boxes, right?
Yeah.
And in this case, Symphogear, like, has a few of those mystery boxes that just have nothing inside. But a lot of them...
Well, that's how you make the best mystery.
Other than, all I can say, at least with Genjiro, it seems to run in his family, but there is no real explanation for why he's, like, a physical god, Yeah,
it's one of those things that still, like, drives the plot along and drives the character development along, so you're like, okay, fine, they have powers, whatever.
Other than that he's there to, be the guy who's always up for a training montage.
It's true. I also really like Shinji Ogawa, where he is very much like, he looks like the most generic, like, anime guy ever. But whenever you need him to be somewhere, he'll be there for you.
Yeah. Yeah, he is He is an interesting character, although also largely unexplained. And they even went out of their way to do something in the last season to add like one more question to his existence. But he is shockingly normal man, except when he has to be hyper competent.
And then there's Ryoko.
Yeah.
I called it.
Yeah.
I called it on her.
Really?
Yes. Let's see. It looks like I called it as early as episode 3.
So on that
Okay.
note, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back with spoilers. This is the OSMcast. And we're back with this OSMcast all about the first season of Symphogear. And we're talking now with spoilers are free, wild, and clear for season 1. Kevin and Dylan, just season 1.
Season 1.
I need to spoil something for all time. There are just
Okay.
certain things in fiction that are always true. If you meet an elf pope, he is gonna be the bad guy. If you make a promise with your
Yeah.
best friend to see the shooting stars on a specific date, you're never gonna see those stars.
At least not when you plan to.
Like, it's not gonna happen, and it doesn't.
So does this tie into like Ryoko? Like you calling Ryoko in episode 3?
Oh,
Yeah.
Or is this like I'm kind of curious how you got there?
Yeah. Yoko, who is the scientific mind behind all the Symphogear stuff, she understands the relics the best and has developed most of this technology herself, allegedly. Well, totally, actually, she did. Not really an allegedly about it, but
I don't know. I just have this note that something's fishy about sexy brunette nurse, which I
Yeah.
referred to her as just "Hello Nurse" in most of my notes watching the show.
Well, I guess she is like the adult woman who's hot in the show. Like, there aren't a whole lot of. I mean, some of the cast reach technically adults before the show is over, but
Well, I mean, they do. Wait, do they reveal? Okay, this is the problem with me taking these notes, and then us not recording for than 3 months. Is I had in episode 5,
Yeah.
I have written that she is also blonde sadistic lady. Is
yeah.
that when it was revealed? Because it's like I only figured it out 2 episodes early.
I don't think so, because I've got notes. Episode 5 is the one where they're moving Durandal.
Okay, yeah, that's the first cool Hibiki fight, and that's after her training montage pays off.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's when they
And-
actually reveal the character of Fine. And
Oh!
just off the jump, that was like,
either
that's
that-
Dr. Lady.
that-
That's Dr. Lady right there. That's Dr.
Either
Lady.
that-
Right there.
Yeah.
There she
You know,
is.
Yeah.
I didn't pick that up, honestly.
It was pretty obvious to me. But unfortunately, it's now been
Well-
so long since I watched Symphogear, and since I wrote down my notes, that I don't remember why it was so obvious. But it was very obvious to me.
I mean, definitely the moment she reveals she has some kind of magical force field is kind of an eyebrow raiser. And I guess it depends on whether you then take the Hibiki route of, well, I don't know, Genjuro's like superhuman. Maybe that's normal.
Yeah, like at this point, they've already established that, because I think Shinji also has some sort of like ninja powers or something. And yeah, like that was all I assumed. I just assumed, okay, Ryoko can also create shields. Fine, you know
that mysterious villain lady has entirely different haircut and is blonde. She must be a different person.
It's because they're both sexy. That's what it was. It was because they were both.
Man,
there are no sexy characters in this show. Everybody is like a chaste virginal pureness to them. And then you have two sexually active characters. No, they're the same character.
that is true because I remember when they reveal Fine has Chris captured and is like torturing her and they're both scantily clad. I'm like, this is grooming. This feels like grooming. I don't like this. I don't like what's happening here.
Yeah.
But they kind of get away from it. And you're like, okay, it was
honestly,
a one-time thing.
Yes. I would say the relationship between her and Chris is definitely grooming, although maybe not.
No, it legit is straight up grooming. Like she is grooming her to be her kind of like the term grooming has meant a lot more than just like sexual grooming.
Yeah.
In the past.
I don't know. I also jumped to that because it's like Chris is real young.
Yeah.
Well, she's under 18. She's in like scantily clad, and this woman's walking around naked and like torturing her. But yeah, it's just like I don't know, man. That feels weird. That feels
right.
Weird. But you're right. Like that's
does.
Those are the only two characters that really are actually being sexual. So I can see how you can go like, oh, there's something.
Oh, those are the same
different
character.
from all the other characters. Yeah. I don't think they reveal it until much later. Like the reality is like Ryoko can create shields because she's Fine and Fine is magic. So, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, not only and she's also many reincarnations of, one lady who's just, keeps reincarnating with her memories to enact her master plan that over the course of centuries.
Oh gosh,
and
what
all
was
the
her master
central
plan?
points and all the
Was
central points of history was because of her and her relics, and her goal was to destroy the moon.
Right. Destroy the moon to remove the curse of Babel so she could talk to God again.
Oh, right.
Because God was her boyfriend. Because God's her boyfriend and ghosted her.
Right. Like, I remember,
Yes.
I forgot what the plan was. I just remember being really fed up with it and really irritated by it when they revealed whatever it was.
I'm not sure if it's an ass pull or not, but it turns out there's more depth to her plan than that doesn't become clear until the series continues on.
I would argue they diverge later in the series from like the ending of the first season, but like that's just gonna happen. I'm not.
Yeah.
I did have a note for episode of 11 that like the Symphogear are connected to the Tower of Babel because sure, why not?
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
Why wouldn't it? I mean, look, it's not. Look, that's just how it is. You create the Tower of Babel in order to reach God because he's your boyfriend, and God's like, God, no, stop. You're creepy as hell, and
like, crazy lady. I dumped her like centuries ago.
If there's a mythological or historical thing that exists, it's tied into the Symphogears.
like
it is.
And that was what I was at a moment where like Doug was like, ugh. I'm like, yes, finally my things. I'm like, man, this is feeling like Assassin's Creed as hell. No, it is Assassin's Creed as hell.
Yes,
and they're
a little bit.
They're jumping, both, Hibiki's fists into it. They're not being like, oh no, we should pull back some like Assassin's Creeds do nowadays. No, they just stick their face in it and go like punch. Let's just go for it, and that's what I'm like. Yes, good
All
job.
I'm saying.
My note for episode 11. And I feel that this is probably still the most important thing to take note of. Bulletproof boobies.
Bulletproof boobies.
I don't remember this. Was this actually a mechanic?
Yes, actually mechanic. Somebody shoots a gun at her and it bounces off the boobies.
Well, because at that point, the Neshitan armor is integrated into her body, and she's nearly indestructible and regenerates.
Yeah. Yeah, like the bullets literally like she jiggles her chest to the side, the bullets like literally bounce off. Like
Yeah. Look, your plan to give a giant middle finger to the moon is finally coming to fruition. There's never a better time to be overly melodramatic and, flamboyant.
And she would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those freaking kids and their Symphogears that I gave them.
Yeah.
Their Symphogears and their feelings, their true, genuine love and bond for each other.
And, sometimes, you find a new friend. And you get a third Symphogear user out of what was once an enemy.
Yeah. That seems to happen a lot over the course of the series. Like, I don't want to say more, but...
Well, much like arguably Symphogear's spiritual predecessor, the lyrical Nanoha series, sometimes enemies get aggressively befriended.
Yeah. Well, anytime it's the kind of situation like I have not seen any of the rest of this. I don't intend to see any of the rest of it, but I know if a new season starts out and there's a new like enemy Symphogear girl, oh, she's going to be a friend by the end of the show. Like she's going to be a friend by the end of this season, if not this episode. Like that's just very clearly the trajectory that this anime
in fact,
is on.
It might be the only way they add new Symphogear girls. I've said too much.
Would believe that.
Oh, but
I would believe that.
But you need to watch more because you got to get to the Illuminati. You love the Illuminati.
I do love the Illuminati.
Well, I'll find an excuse to slowly erode your resistance to watching the subsequent seasons.
Like I said,
Just like
they're
Hibiki.
12 episodes.
Just like Hibiki.
It's really like it's not a huge commitment to go like a season at a time. And I think that's what's good about it. If it was like 26 episode seasons, it would feel like more of a slog.
Like, I'm glad someone kept going, hey, let's make another season for as long as it did, because I enjoyed the whole run immensely. Heck, we may even get another season someday. It's unclear. But it's like, if they had started with, okay, you have 26 episodes, and they tried to tell the first season's plot, yeah, I think it definitely would have dragged. Like, there are some abrupt resolutions, but that's definitely better to dragging out the more painful moments of the show.
Yes, yeah.
This is also a pretty good magical girl show. I don't think we've actually really covered that aspect too much.
Oh, yeah, no.
About it. They got their cool transformations. All the Symphogears look pretty cool. I do like everything is...
Oh, we talked initially when I was first watching it. When I was first watching the first couple of episodes, and I'm like, I'm really into this. I did notice that it reminded me a lot of Madoka Magica for some reason. Like, I think I was expecting it to be like a subversion of magical girl tropes because of how close I saw it, how similar I saw it to Madoka Magica.
The lead is Madoka from Madoka Magica.
Well, that explains that. But it's not a subversion. It's playing the magical girl genre like very directly and honestly.
But it's kind of switching it up to like sci-fi instead of fantasy. And like I didn't recognize that. I was like, oh, this is more like Sentai than it is.
I do like how the Symphogear armors just kind of like reshape themselves to whatever purpose that their need now, whatever weapon or function that it needs. It kind of just sort of reshapes itself in a very like fluid but mechanical kind of way. like compartments open and pistons shift around and things like that.
Aggressive machinery porn.
Sorta, yeah. And I enjoy my aggressive machinery porn.
I enjoy that each Symphogear user, they have like a different musical style to their singing and to their songs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
I didn't
it's
really put that together, but
Well, to an extent, like it's
That's not really something I
it's all
noticed
pop
either.
though. So it's not like they're doing hugely different
well,
styles.
like Chris's songs tend to be a little more hard and angry.
Yeah.
like Tsubasa is a little more produced. Like Hibiki's a little more,
Right, yeah.
a little bit more like you're right. It's more like, variations, but like you can sort of, if you pay attention, like there's different twinges. Like it all might be like pop, but like one might be more like pop punk, or one might be like pop, like, again, more harder,
Yeah.
more rock influenced. The other ones might be more straight up just pure pop. Like there's some variation to it.
And also in universe, the idea is what they're singing is sort of, it's the music and the lyrics that they're doing is kind of based on their inner emotional state, allegedly.
And I also really appreciate where Chris's magical abilities is just making more guns and missiles.
Yeah. Yeah. She is just, more Daka in human form. That funny thing is, okay, related to Chris, but minor tangent, Ichival, the relic that she has, it's a bow
Yeah.
from Fire Emblem.
Yes. Yeah. I there were a couple of things in here that like I didn't immediately recognize from mythology. And I'm like, oh, I've got to go look that up. I've got to go look that up. And it turns out that one is made up by Fire
That
Emblem.
somehow Japanese fans got confused into thinking it was like a real mythological bow used by Odin.
Nope.
But it's from a Fire Emblem game.
Yeah, it doesn't have like a Norse sounding name like at
Not
all.
at all. Like Gungnir, Hibiki's, that's Odin's spear. I am forgetting the sword, Tsubasa sword, but that's also from Japanese mythology.
Ameno Habakiri.
No.
Yeah, Ameno Habakiri.
Yeah.
There's some,
They mentioned Wielder, which is just like a type of sword.
Yeah. Durandal is a famous historical sword.
Yes, famous French sword.
Neshutan is actually like a statue, but that's
It's like a real deep biblical reference.
yeah. But it's not the deepest. It's not the deepest biblical reference in the show, but that's later.
Wait, what is?
But Ichival.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know because I'm going to watch more seasons of this.
Okay.
It's final season. It's like I can't even say the character's name because that's it.
Okay.
Is it Jesus? Does Jesus show up?
No.
He is referenced. Because again, it's one of these like wild swings that they take, and you're like, they really did that. Okay, cool.
Look, also, you've got to make it to at least season 4 for the canonically trans characters.
Okay. Just come over and you can put it on. I won't fight you.
So you hear that, Kevin? You got to get the driver's license in order to make Doug watch more Symphogear.
Well, that certainly is a compelling. That certainly is a compelling reason because we all need to watch more Symphogear. Well, except for Dylan, who actually watched all of Symphogear. But he could watch it again, though. I wouldn't stop him.
No, like I was talking to Basil before. Basil was like, yeah, we could do maybe like more awesome casts on the other seasons. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about like I'm not opposed to rewatching them, but at the same time, like
Yeah.
I'm not jumping at it. It was
I
good.
mean, I went
It
out
was
my
fine.
way. I went out my way to rewatch the first season. Well, a little more prior to this than it actually we were recording, but I did go. I did decide I wanted to rewatch it just to, refresh my memory a little bit. But it's fun. It's crazy. It's you just want to see how pissed off at the moon can one lady get.
Yeah.
And how pissed off can, anyone be at the moon is a continuing theme of the show.
Yep.
So, me deciding to review the Roche limit was
Yes.
very apropos.
Yeah,
It is very apropos.
I was like, I've heard that, the moon can form rings. Like Kevin and I were just like riffing on that.
Yeah. It's look, things happen. Things happen. The moon is just it's moon's it's all the moon's fault. It's all the moon's fault.
Yeah, more or less.
I'm a little bit sad to learn about the Roche limit because I was actually pretty excited for the idea that Earth would one day gain a second moon from all the space junk that we've just put into orbit. But I think most of it is actually within the Roche limit, so that might not be true.
Wouldn't that mean we would get rings though?
We probably are going to get rings from our space junk. Yeah.
Although maybe someone could make an artificial moon one day, like the way they've made artificial islands out of trash.
Maybe that's
Let's
possible.
recycle all the space garbage into a space colony. One day we'll have enough of it.
All right, shall we? Well, I guess let's go on to questions, huh? Let's take a break. Go into questions.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, folks, we're back from questions from listeners like you, from the internet and through our Discord and Twitters and whatever social medias I was able to get this out on. We got some questions. And at monstrous_fest asks, is there any anime gayer than this? No circle one.
Part of me wants to just meme into this and be like, this is the gayest show. It sadly isn't.
Yeah. I in order to answer this question, I would circle the actual O1 in E of this question. Because there are gayer shows. There are gayer shows.
I mean,
Like
the subtext is thick and heavy to the point where it's basically text. At least certainly through season 1, the subtext is heavy, very heavy.
Yuri Bear Storm is gayer than this anime.
There are actual anime involving gay characters where they actually, look at the camera and be like, this is very gay. I am a gay person attracted to someone of the same gender. Like, it happens way too rarely. But just by virtue that any show that does that is just a little bit gayer.
Yeah, it feels like if they actually talked about the relationships as if they were like romantic or whatever relationships, you would automatically beat this show.
This show really reminds me a lot of, for example, Legend of Korra, where they knew what they wanted to say, but they were only allowed to do certain things. And so They just had to hint at stuff as hard as they could and hope to God people were
Like-
paying attention.
Yeah. I don't know about the behind the scenes on that, but I feel like that is probably the case. I mean, it's one of those things where even the voice actresses were, were it playing it like romantic couples, and they knew that. They own up to that. They play into it, but no one in the show was actually, like, whoever was in charge of the show, someone on that level was not letting them just come out and say it. Probably for fear of, if it got branded as a Yuri show, it might hurt the marketing somehow. Although I could not imagine that, because everyone I know who likes the show, that's one of their main favorite parts.
So if you were to ask me the question of, is this the gayest anime that wasn't allowed to say the word gay, then I would have to definitely say, nah, this thing is up there. This
It's up there.
is
Yes.
Oh, it's definitely up there. It's just not the gayest.
Like, it's
Well,
it gets remarkably far without ever coming out and saying it's gay. It gets very high up on that list.
Well, I've noticed that tends to be the way Yuri anime go, is that they seem to say it without saying. It seems to be a classic of the genre to
Yeah.
say it without saying it. And I don't know if that's because that's some weird restriction that Japan
I
has,
am
or
so thrilled when Yuri Anime actually says it out loud. I don't want to spoil a current anime season show, but let's just say I found one finally just recently. But it's such a rare, and it's like, just when you get that moment, it's like, as an anime fan who likes Yuri Anime, when you get an actual, like, yeah, we're not even pretending to be subtle. No, this is the point. We're saying it out loud. We are, we know writers who use subtext and they are cowards.
I feel like this happens a lot to queer shows, that it's the thing that you observed just a second ago, where we tend to have these shows and we say, and something is going on with the production where they can't come out and say it, but it's all but explicit in the subtext of the show that this is going on. Like how in this show it's very obvious that there are couples among the girls, but we never actually out and out acknowledge that this is a romantic relationship. It seems to happen a lot in queer shows where that happens, and the producers or somebody, the money people,
Yeah.
don't want it to come out and say it. But the reason the fans like it is almost universally because it's some kind of representation.
Yeah, you are, like, anyone you ask any fans of the show, and like 99.9% of them are going to be like, "Oh yeah, it's a gay show."
Yeah.
to bring up a different show, Stars Align, which is a great, wonderful, amazing show that we only got half of. It ends on just the most Cliftertons of cliffhangers as its ending.
Yeah.
And the creator went, I wasn't going to change things, and I'm not going to constrict things. I'm going to tell a story how I want to. This was meant to be a 24 episode show, and I only got half of that, and I'm going to keep telling that show. And that show did say the things. It said a few things. It said a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm being vague because I don't want to spoil the show for people who haven't watched it yet. You can listen to our podcast on that one. But it still has yet to get that second season. I think even just a month or two ago, the guy was like, came online, like, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to get the rest of the story out there. It's there. I just don't have an avenue for it. And it sucks.
And similarly, Mappo won't even talk about Yuri on Ice anymore.
It sure seems
Like,
that way.
Like they just won't even talk about it, and it's so infuriating. And it really feels to me like the big reason they won't even talk about it is because they just don't want to acknowledge that they made a super gay show.
Which is weird considering Mappa's other shows.
I know, right? Oh,
And that's not a show
But-
where
yeah.
there's like it's all subtext. Like it's also in the text, isn't it?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Like that seems weird that you wouldn't like, okay, this is just part of it. You can acknowledge that. It's fine.
Yeah. But it's, I don't know. It's like you gotta go to Mappa. It's like, guys, you made Little Witch Academia.
That was Trigger.
Oh wait,
It was.
it was.
It was Trigger.
What did Mappa make? I don't know. Mappa's made shit too. I lost my train of thought and pulled the wrong studio.
Banana Fish?
Yeah. Did they?
I'm pretty sure
Was
Mappa
that
did Banana.
Trigger
No,
or
Mappa.
Mappa?
Like, I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was.
Yeah,
That-
yeah. That was Mappa. That was Mappa.
Mappa does so
It's
many
like, you made
goddamn
Banana
things.
Fish. Yeah.
Mappa does too much.
Yes. And their personnel suffer to some extent. But yes. It's like don't kill your animators, please. I love your anime. Just make a little less of it. Oh yeah, I mean they did Zombieland Saga. That's it's like that has a canonically trans character in it.
I don't know how far they got in Chainsaw Man, but that's got some characters in there too. Like there's
Yeah.
I look.
They didn't get that far in the anime.
No. And I hope they get far enough in Vinland Saga.
But this isn't this is a yay Symphogear or Symphogear or
right.
yeah, Symphogear episode, not a god damn it Mappa episode.
But
That would be all the episodes.
Whenever we remember Yuri on Ice, which comes up in discussion of queer shows, some of us, and to a certain extent, probably all of us, are a little frustrated that movie hasn't materialized yet. But in any case,
Next question.
to answer your question,
Your friend and mine, Ruby, at Passion Tentacle asks, what would y'all's armored gears be?
ooh,
Oh. Okay. Let's see. Gungar is already called. I'll take Calciferin.
oh, so that was a question of like, I was thinking what kind of weapon it would
Yeah,
be,
I was thinking the same thing.
as opposed to what artifact it would be, which are two different questions, but that's also a valid interpretation.
Okay. Well then, Scythe,
Yeah, because I think if I was going
obviously.
to pick a magical weapon, like a magical artifact history, I'm kind of partial to Durnwin, the Welsh sword that will
Oh, that is a good
can
one.
only be wielded in a righteous cause, or it burns you to death.
Guy Blog is a pretty good one.
Oh
Pretty
yeah,
good one too. But no, I think I would go with Calciferin over Guy Blog.
I mean, there are definitely many cool magical, and some of this there's at least one Symphogear that's not even a weapon that's out there.
I want to hear Dylan's answer.
But
Man, I don't know any of like historical and mythological weapons, so I don't really have an answer for that.
okay, so
Um,
Dylan, your homework is to watch Fate Zero and any other Fate Stay Night series.
I think I watched Fate Stay Night. It's been a while, but I would like, especially having seen the rest of the series or the rest of the series and seeing how just off the wall some of the weapons get, I would just go with like a sword, right? Like I like Hibiki's idea of like I don't have a weapon so that I can hold hands and like I can be the healer support type of character. Like that definitely seems like the niche I would get into, but
Of course, that's just because she hasn't realized that Big O punches are a viable weapon.
yes. Yes. And they really are big O punches, aren't they? Like they have the
little sliding elbow things that pop out, which is why it's like, yes.
But no, I would probably go like sword, very classic, very straightforward.
Would Zeus's thunderbolt count?
Quite possibly.
I'm sure you could you
Maybe.
could come up with a version of it.
With I appreciate that you're conscious enough to know that Zeus's thunderbolt was an object, not just lightning that he threw. That's
Yeah, I think it counts as a spear type thing.
could be, or heck, it could possibly manifest as weirder shit somehow. You know, it's.
I mean, I would also take the was it the Caduceus, the Hermes staff.
Yeah.
I bet that could turn into a pretty cool weapon. You know, the Titan of Time Chronos. He had a scythe. That could be Doug's scythe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I was just thinking
Man,
about
I'm
ancient Greek weapons, and since I'm a quarter Greek, I probably
It's
should be
like-
looking at that.
Kevin's thoughts of, well, I actually know how to use a rapier or similar like a fencing style weapons with at least a little proficiency. On the other hand, I weirdly really love spears. Although a big honking battle axe is, nothing says lesbian more than a giant battle axe.
There's not really like there's a spear and a sword, and then there's nothing like an axe or any other kind of like standard medieval.
There's not really an
fantasy
axe
weapon.
in there, but it's like the Symphogear needs axes, unless there's somebody with an axe in the mobile game, which died in the U.S. So probably for the best because it doesn't tempt me to spend money.
All right, and in a similar question vein, Helen at Wanderin' Dreamer, friend of the show. I mean, they're all friends of the show, but she's also part of the Taiku Mountaineers podcast family. Anyways, if you were a Symphogear, what kind of music would you be belting out as you fight on to save the Earth? Prog rock, Eurovision ballads, top 40 hits?
God.
Shoot tunes.
How do you feel about Gilbert and Sullivan patter songs? No.
I mean, you're taking a genre where the characters suddenly start singing about how they feel in any given moment, and you're applying it to an anime where the characters suddenly start singing about how they feel in combat.
Yeah. If my actual tendencies to start randomly singing in real life are any example, it would probably come out at least a little operatic.
I mean, it's not like you haven't,
Yeah, yours would probably be.
If I came out sounding like Puccini, I'd probably be happy.
Yeah, Kevin would definitely be singing opera.
but like cool, like rock opera versions. Like, don't worry, Kevin. The guitars will still be playing behind you for no apparent reason.
I mean, I certainly hope so, but you could do like a hybrid thing and maybe like work in a harpsichord and some wind instruments, maybe a little brass.
I initially shouted out show tunes, but I think if we're being realistic, it would be anime theme songs. That's what I would say.
Actual anime theme songs are just songs that sound like they could be anime theme songs.
Probably actual anime theme songs.
I mean,
The first
and Doug's
Symphogear user to get a copyright strike.
like, if you were a Symphogear, you would get your own songs. They would just sound like. Now, I would ask, if possible, I would like to know if I cannot get Masayoshi Soken to compose the themes that I get to belt out, running down and killing the noise as a Symphogear.
Yeah. Well, like I'm imagining Doug would get something like Masami Okui-esque.
Yeah.
Something that sounds like a theme for Slayers, It's
Yeah, I would get something Masami Okui based. Based would probably be singing video game songs.
Or
I
some
feel like mine-
alternative rock.
Something Soken based.
Like if Masayoshi Soken could get me something like Cake-esque, or even or more of a hard rock, like Alice in Chains, metal sort of sound to it. That'd be cool. I'd be down with that.
Okay, and now Dylan.
It would be something like kind of folky, like bluegrassy, singer-songwriter, those sorts of genres.
Yes, I can see that.
I could.
That would be good.
All right.
Yeah.
Now that we've figured all the important questions out, the final questions are: how many awesomes out of awesome are we going to give Symphogear? Season 1, just season 1. Don't forget.
You gotta dial that amp up to 11 out of awesome.
Well, usually the number doesn't actually matter. It's just a pun, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a number.
Well,
Dylan just gives away the game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's what I usually do. I can't come up with any sort of pun for this one.
The points are named. The points are made up, and the questions are made up, and the points don't matter. I sort of blew that one, but yeah.
I think is an anime 302 out of awesome.
You know what? I'm okay. I'm gonna make a joke. I shouldn't have said that. That's too literal. AXGXV out of awesome, because we don't number seasons. We give them
throw more letters.
We throw more letters at them.
Well, I'm going to give it back in time, back in the day. Tried to talk to God, and God started ghosting me, so I built a giant tower. He knocked it over, and now I'm going to blow up the moon. Screw you guys. I'm going to go see God. Out of awesome.
I mean, it sounds reasonable. Sounds reasonable as a response to me, but
and he's on a mission from Gad. She's also playing both sides, so she always comes out on top.
Yeah.
And don't worry, she is always on top. Anyways.
Man, I know we're about to cut this short, but there's a couple scenes with Hibiki and Ryoko where I'm thinking Hibiki needs an adult. Hibiki needs an adult.
Yeah.
Maybe don't. Yeah, like the age differences. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
in retrospect, maybe that's our first sign she was a little suspect. Maybe that should have been our first sign.
At the same time,
it was our first sign. Like, I literally called it based off of that sign.
At the same time, there's enough of that in anime that after a while you're just like, yeah, it's kind of creepy, but you know what? Okay, it's anime.
You've watched too much anime.
Maybe not a great thing to get used to. Like I said, I remember like the halfway torture, but Chris is kind of like responding positively scenes and going, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's just what anime does.
There's a lot of this is just what anime does in this series.
Because it's all anime.
If you take nothing away.
And then you realize the show was subtly shaming you for not picking up on that was strange and unsettling. But in any case, that aside, it's a really good show in my opinion. I'm glad, you at least got into season 1, everybody.
You get your driver's license, you can come over and make me watch more of it.
The carrot dangling out.
The carrot.
I also have gay anime to show you.
Well, I guess we can be a little tit for tat. Or tat tit. However, yeah.
I'm trying to see if I cannot pull up who it was that gave us our episode. Like, because this was, again, part of the Anime Secret Santa project. It was pioneered by the Reverse Thieves podcast, and then it became too much, of a hassle to keep that thing running. So the Algi cannot say that anymore. That NPR will destroy us. The AGC podcast picked it up. And I believe now the Taiku podcast is now picking it up for this year. So this is what you get to look forward to, Corey. Let's see. Now they reviewed that. Oh yeah, Bill reviewed Keijo thanks to Ink. Good job, Ink. That was a good one. Ah yes, the Alexander Case reviewed Godzilla Singular Point. We had Noel of Gonzo.moe. They recommended this show to us. So, and then they had to watch Devilman Lady, thanks to Diego of the AGC podcast. So, the very tit for tat.
Yeah.
And possibly, potentially, maybe, this will not be the only Symphogear OSMcast, but that's something the future will have to hold. The balloon, the moon hasn't gotten blown up yet, so never say never, right?
I mean, like, not fully blown up in the series.
So, this has been an episode of the OSMcast, your podcast for everything awesome. It is edited by the most wonderfuls of wonders, Anna. Our theme song is done by DJ Inabito. You can go to his website at djinabito.com. He occasionally does things on Twitch at, again, DJ Inabito, but, check him out there whenever he's doing stuff. You can check out our stuff at OSMcast.com, OSMCST.com. From there are links to all sorts of things, like our Patreon or our Discord. We mentioned it up top, but, hey, join the Discord, join our Patreon. For $1, you get a cool color for your name in the Discord, or you can also get bonus episodes for $5, or if you decide to really be a big spender, for $20 a month, you do that for 3 months, you can tell Kevin what to eat. And he'll have to try it.
Reason.
Whatever
Not a whole lot of reason, but a little reason.
Want. If you want him to eat monkey brains.
Well, isn't that kind of unsafe?
Correct. It actually does not count. Like, that's why Kevin says within reason. But it's true.
Oh, no emoji.
Yeah.
But I'm reacting to this post with oh no.
As long as it's not going to harm me by consuming it, like in a might kill me sort of way, or as long as it in no way involves boiling baby chicks inside their eggs.
So yeah, but you can tell Kevin to eat whatever you want within reason.
I don't have many lines, but I have a couple lines.
Well, we also have to be able to drive you out there to try it. That's the other trick. Because it has to be something we can actually acquire. But otherwise, if you don't want to spend $20 a month for 3 months, cool. Leave us Apple Podcast reviews or Spotify reviews, or anywhere else they can actually leave reviews. Although I think it's pretty much those two places nowadays. That's incredibly useful, because that's how we actually get showing up in various things where people type in anime podcasts and Spotify or Apple Podcasts. The more likely we're to show up is the higher ratings we get. So ratings and reviews are great and wonderful and give us all the stars. If it's 5 stars, great. If it's 12 stars, give us 13. Regardless of whether or not you liked what we said about Symphogear in this podcast, go ahead and just throw us those 5 stars. Our socials, some of us do have them. I know, for example, I am pretty much It's Basil time across the board. Whether it's still Twitter, somehow that's still around. There's also It's Basil time on co-host. We also do have the OSMcast.social for Mastodon that Dylan, keeps running for us. So I'm at Basil time there, or on what have you. That's where you can find me, Dylan. Where can they find you?
At Dylan Wolf on Twitter, or Dylan at awesomecast.social on Mastodon.
Kevin.
I am at Twitless_Kevin on Twitter. I technically have a Mastodon, but I'm never there.
Like
But
a lot of folks
if
on
Twitter
Mastodon.
dies, yeah. But that's basically it. I spend way too much time on Twitter watching the Rome burn.
And if you want to get a hold Doug on Twitter, just message one of the rest of us, and we'll relay it on. All I'm saying is we've got a Discord. You should join the Discord.
Yeah.
There is lots of
If you want to
cool
appreciate
reviews.
buy one of our shirts.
That's true. We do have the TeePublic site, which you can find on the website, awesomecast.com. But no,
Yeah.
if you want to get a hold of Doug, get on Discord. Like, we got an Awesomecast Discord.
Yep.
You can post in there. We'll eventually see it. And then finally, on my list, I think right now I'm the only really active person on the Awesomecast side that's doing stuff on Twitch, and you can find my stuff at its Basil time. Also, before I forget, I want to point out that, Angel Dogfire with the middle A is not there, is Anna's social handle, and you can find her various places like Twitter and Twitch and Mastodon at awesomecast.social. And so, yeah, you should also check out Anna's stuff. She does some pretty cool things and posts some cool memes about Final Fantasy XIV. We also do have our Final Fantasy XIV podcast, the Carbuncle Chronicle. You can just subscribe to the Awesomecast, podcast feed, and you're going to get those too. And we've been doing those way more often than we used to, and we're hopefully going to continue on with that because we enjoy Final Fantasy XIV and like talking about it. Yeah, with that, thank you for listening to us. Thank you, Kevin, Dylan, and Doug, for chatting with me on this episode about the Symphogears. And until next time, we're out.